So in 71 days, I grew a channel to over 100,000 subscribers. Yeah! But when I reached that goal, I was like, what's next? And I decided, you know what? I want to create a course to help other people do the same thing. I know how challenging it is to go from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. And so that's what I did. I was like, what should I name it? And I was like, 100K subs. And so I created a website where I'm basically creating a wait list for anyone interested in the course. And the course is still in process, but check this out. While I was working on the course, something was just pulling me to and leading me to focus on my health. And I am a Enneagram 2-3, which means I'm a helper, but also an achiever, right? That's the 3. What that means is I just love having goals, like what's next. And the fact that I was being pushed and pulled internally to focus on my health was an interesting goal to have, because usually my goals would be business oriented or accomplishment. I don't know if that was the right word. It's based on like these tangible things, and the fact that my intuition was telling me to focus on my health was an interesting focus, because that's not really clear. For those who know what a SMART goal is, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, right? And so a lot of my goals are that. They're very specific, they're measurable, like something very tangible, attainable, something that's within my reach, and realistic, something that is not just attainable, but based on the time I'm going to spend on it, is achievable. But focusing on your health is not structured in that way. I don't know why I was being led to focus on my health, but I found out later on exactly why. So when I focused on my health, I started with the basics. I really believe your sleep is the first thing to change. So I started fixing my sleep routine. I think I started sleeping around maybe 11:30, 12 to 7:38, the standard around there. And then I started getting some sunlight. I started exercising. What else did I do? I just started researching healthy habits and started really going down a rabbit hole of nutrition and just longevity, like all these things. Side note, I just felt like sharing. So when I check this out, you know what I learned from hitting 100,000 subscribers with Gabriel Bautista Song's channel? I didn't know that YouTube had the right to not give you a silver plaque. So I know you see 2 silver plaques behind me. I should have not just 3. I should have more, actually. What's crazy is what they said was, you could look for yourself. Look at the channel yourself. They said repeated content, which I get, because one tool and technique I used to reach 100,000 subscribers in 71 days is, as soon as I found a short that was getting a lot of subscribers and had a format that was working, I literally only did that format. So I would have videos of me let's see, I would just show my laptop showing the subscriber growth with a viral song, or that was the main thing. Just leveraging trending short songs on shorts that would get traction, and then I guess that format was too repeatable in YouTube's eyes, and so they didn't give me a silver plaque for the channel, but you know what they did? They did verify my channel, which I have like that check mark now for Gabriel Bautista Song. So it's interesting seeing that. For those who are just watching this video for the first time, I also want to share. So I have a portfolio of faceless channels that I run, but Gabriel Bautista Songs was the first one where I showed my face and I was very public about it. Outside of this channel right here, Work Life Podcast, and the Dizon Mendoza. Outside of those three channels, everything else is faceless. And I also have a portfolio of other channels that I work with, other YouTubers that I help grow their channels. And so if you're just watching this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, so that's a little context of what I actually do. I'm a YouTuber and a YouTube channel developer. What that means is I grow my own channels, but I also help other people grow their channels. I love doing both. I love helping people, and I also love growing my own channel. So that's me in a nutshell. So going back to the topic. So I focused on my health, my sleep, my diet, nutrition. And now here's the crazy part. When you think of health, it's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and fixing the physical, fixing the mental, fixing the emotional led me closer to God again. So I've been a believer my whole life. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he died and saved me from my sins. That's a belief that I've developed and grown and have had a journey with more and more as I got older. But when I focused on my health, something just clicked. and something, I don't know if that was like God speaking to me or if it was my intuition or whatever it may be. But I just heard a voice that was saying, like, you really want to get healthy? Follow God. Woo! And I felt that emotion. I was like, there's like this justification, like, I do follow God. I listen to like worship music. I go to church. I watch online sermons. But I followed God, but I never really. I've been off and on, to be quite honest, with the whole concept of really surrendering to God. What does that even mean? Like, oh, and the fan just turned off. Wait, let me check the audio. Hello. Oh, it sounds so much better with the headphones. I have this fan that was going off on the office and I couldn't turn it off. But it's interesting how they just turned off exactly when I started talking about God. But yeah, so I was like, what does that mean? Feels weird listening to my voice on this headphone. I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So the first thing was I just started praying more. And then one thing is something was pushing me to read chapter 6 of Matthew. I don't know where that came from. Not really sure. But I started reading Matthew chapter 6 every single day, over and over again. I stopped reading Proverbs. My morning routine for years now, I think, is I've been reading a chapter of Proverbs. For those who are not aware of all the books of the Bible, right? The Bible is not just one book; it's multiple books, and I love the wisdom and the practical advice of Proverbs. So I've been reading a chapter of Proverbs for years, but something was telling me to read Matthew chapter 6 over and over again. Now, for those who don't know what Matthew chapter 6 is, there's multiple topics in there, but what really stood out was this part about, you could, and I'm butchering probably the phrasing, but the main point was you can't serve money and serve God. Those are two different masters. It's phrased with the word masters. And I every time I read that sentence, I was like, wow, like, I think I have been putting money before God. And you know how I know this? Because anytime I have an opportunity to make money or something comes up, I would not go to church, or I would have an excuse to not do something, like even something as simple as not reading the Bible. I would put my job, I would put my business, I would put my clients, I would put anything. Like, if something comes up, God was definitely not number one, right? And the things that draws me closer to God wasn't number one. And so I just felt convicted Ooh, the emotions. Oh, by the way, these shades, I'm not trying to look cool. These shades are transitions, and because the sunlight's pressing on it, it's making it look like shades, but they'll transition out of that as soon as the sun goes back down. I don't know, I'm giving all this information, but so yeah, so focusing on health led me closer to God, and then I just became hyper aware of more things where I put money or my business over God. And one change lately was, I have, like I said earlier, I have these faceless channels, and one of the faceless channels I'm really not proud of. It's making money, but it's not a positive energy and representation distribution in the world. Let's just say that without me even saying. And I always justified it to myself, like, oh, I I'm making money off this channel. Like, I need to take care of myself. Uh, if I stop this channel, then it's like a revenue source. Then once again, if you read Matthew chapter 6 even further, it's like don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry. It's not saying don't be financially responsible, but it's saying don't worry. About being taken care of. God will take care of you. Um, so if I want to get healthier, I need to put God first. And if I want to put God first, I got to put God first. Simple as that. And if God, I felt like God was calling me to like stop making videos for this channel and just leave it be. And whether I make any more money from it is fine, whatever. I didn't delete the channel. It's still up there. No one knows it's me behind the scenes, but I guess that's part of the fun of these faceless channels. But the main point is I am no longer making videos for that channel. And I'm just trusting God. Um, and not to say every time you follow God, you will get a financial return or you will get something in return. I believe you follow God because God knows what's best for you. Period. Right? That's what I believe. So, okay. So I was like, all right, God. Sometimes, I'm still trying to decipher when I'm talking to myself and when I'm talking to God, but that's a topic for another video. But when I'm having these moments of silence and I'm just, thinking about these things, all right, I was like, I'm going to stop making videos for this channel and I'll be okay, right? I'll be okay. Around the same week, I got a new client, basically, that not only replaces the money I was making from the channel I just stopped, but like way more. Like way more. And it's for a channel that I has a more positive influence in the world. So I'm not saying by following God you'll make more money. I'm not saying that. But what I do know is that when you trust God, period, when you trust God with everything, you trust God with your finances, with your business, I truly believe like life gets better. Because now I'm helping this other channel and I'm not just only making more money, but I'm also doing it with a peace that I'm helping create videos and putting videos out in the world that are in a positive state of mind with positive intentions, positive energy. So that's even more valuable than making more money part. The fact that I could sleep at night knowing that I'm contributing to the positive energy and purpose in the world that contributes to society rather than I'll be honest. So with that faceless channel that I stopped, I stopped and I'm no longer posting on it. I was leveraging certain psychological, let's just say I was triggering people so I could get more watch time, to get more clicks. And it works because we are human and we have psychological triggers, and you will know these triggers because you can watch the news, you can watch movies, you can watch television, and there's strategy and intention to what holds attention. Once again, there's strategy and intention to what holds attention. Every frame, every minute of a video that's produced, especially if it's produced in front of a large audience, is very intentional, right? People know what they're doing, especially people who are successful in building an audience, in getting attention, whether that is any format, any video format, and online and television, the news, whatever it may be. Long story short, I'm just glad that I trusted God in that. I was like, all right, cool. Another thing I trusted God with lately is there's a lot of things, but one thing I could think of on the top of my mind, I should have prepared a little more for this, but I also just want to uh, use this work-life podcast to not only interview people I want to learn from and just reconnect with people, but also just to share my work and life journey. And now, you know what's crazy? Before, I would never share my faith when I'm posting a video for business, like a business related video. But then if I really put God first, then that means, and I'll be okay. If I don't get a client because of my faith, if I don't get a client because of my beliefs, most likely that's not a client I want to work with anyways. And I'm not saying I don't want to work with clients who are not believers, right? I just want to work with people who are putting something good in the world and are not judgmental. And you know what I mean? Like, I'll work with any channel that God is calling me. Once again, everything now, from now on, as much as I can. And I got to remind myself of this every single minute, hour, every day, is putting God first. One thing I'm thinking, one thing I had anxiety about for a while is getting back into a community group. And what a community group is for those who aren't aware, is basically like a gathering of a smaller group of people who talk about and discuss this sermon from church and like those topics, and are just a group of believers that support each other in life and community. That's why it's a community group. Anyways, so I haven't been part of one for a while, and I was like, I think there's three main pressures in life, right? Well, for me, I can only speak for myself. It's a beautiful sunset right now. Actually, the sun is setting and it's beautiful. Anyways, I'm at my office in Riverside right now. For those who don't know, that's where my office is at. What was I gonna say? Oh, community group. So, all right. So there's three pressures, and there's society's pressure on you. There's this pressure you get from yourself, and I think there's this pressure you get from your spiritual life, from God. And the air conditioner just went off. I'm gonna get these headphones off. And I didn't want to be part of a community group because I don't know. It's so vulnerable to be part of a group and share your stuff. But you know what's funny is like I feel safer sharing my private stuff out it online like this rather than in a small group with people who are physically around me, which is crazy. But anyways, so I was like, if I want to get healthier, I should follow God. And if I want to follow God, God's calling me to be part of a group. So then I recently just joined a group at my home church, Sandals, and it's been great. Uh, and what's crazy is one of the members I've been friends with from church for a while, so it just made it way easier. And everyone's super cool. Uh, so that's part of following God too, like being part of a community group of other believers. Because if you look at Jesus's life, you know, he was around big crowds of people. Then he had his disciples with a small crowd, and then he also had one-on-one conversations with people, right? And so I I didn't realize how much value being part of a community group was until like I already knew, but I believed it even more when I rejoined one. So yeah, that's my life in the past. Um, so let me look at when I achieved. I'm looking at my Google sheet of when I have. Okay, I'm so organized. I have a sheet of my goals, and that when I hit 100K subs, it was on March 25, 2024, and um, I've been on this health journey since then, right? And now it's like a God journey because I realize the more I follow God, the healthier I am. There's still things I need to work on, like to be quite honest, like as a man in what year is it, 2024, there's a lot of temptation uh, for men in general. And I think for human beings in general, I can only talk about myself. And so I'm just praying over that and also trusting that oh, I'm just literally venting about everything in this video, but so I joined a dating app called Upward. Yeah, Upward. And because I'm like becoming more in tune with like God's voice in my life, I just became more aware of actions I'm doing and my own intentions. And long story short, I was on Upward and I was like, oh wow, like somebody like a good amount of girls like me. Let's go. Like as a guy, I was like, I was like, it helped me build my confidence, I guess. And then I just felt God like just tell me, you're gonna find I'm gonna lead you to your wife, right? And so I don't know, something was telling me to delete it. So I didn't want to delete it because I had there's a couple girls on there I was actually having conversations with, and I was gonna possibly date. I'm not even sure, but all I know is God was leading me to delete it, and so I was obedient to that, and I deleted the app. I'm not really sure why I shared that, but I think that's just this connects to the whole theme of trusting God. And when He tells me to do something, I, especially if I'm aware and I'm like in tune and I'm listening, I'm gonna try my best to follow it. And even okay, I trust God more and more. The more I submit to God, the more I trust Him because life gets better. It really does. It, and it's not just like your career or business or financially. Like there's a peace I get. And okay, oh, I had this moment. So I was like laying down in my hammock. I got a hammock recently, and I just look. I like journal while I look out in the stars at night. That's like my evening routine. And I was just, I don't know where it came from, but I had this thought like, if I lost everything, Like, if YouTube was deleted, if I lost all my faceless channels, the channels that show my face, if I lost all my clients, if someone hacked into my bank account and erased everything, if I lost everything, like everything, I just, I'd be okay. And you know what's crazy? I haven't had that peace for a while. Like the fact that like my value and my peace of mind and security and self-confidence is not from the external world, but my internal world and my relationship with God, and recognizing that He has given me the experience, the knowledge, and the education and the experience to create. I've failed in business a lot. I've made YouTube channels that didn't go anywhere. I've made videos that no one watched. I still make those videos. And I'm okay. Like if these, like I'm so proud of these silver plaques behind me. I'm so proud of like all the success I had in the past couple of years, and I'm so proud of all these things. But at the same time, if all those things were taken away from me and all I had was myself and God, I'd be okay. The emotions, I'd be okay. That's pretty wild. That is pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Hmm. And I think with all that, I think that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I decided I'm going to uh, alternate. For this channel, I'm going to alternate sharing my own work life journey, and then episodes of interviewing other people, whether that's just people I want to spend time with, friends, family, other my clients, my clients slash friends, my friends slash clients, um, other YouTubers that I'm acquaintances with and friends with, and um, just people, some YouTubers I've had relationships with online and never met in person. So it just gives me an excuse to travel and maybe record a video with them through this channel. And so I'm just so excited. And that's enough blabbing because I know how important retention is at the end. So watch another video. And oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna work on my ending, but my gut says if you want to improve your work, if you want to improve your life, put God first. Simple as that.